Welcome back, everybody, to The Hum, a Kansas Hoops podcast via the Field of 68. We have a pretty quick episode today, but we have a lot of stuff to go over when it comes to 2025 basketball recruiting, including an official visitor from this past weekend. So let's get right into it, Bez. Episode 39 of The Hum, a Kansas Hoops podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to The Hum. And the first thing we are here to talk about today is Sebastian Williams-Adams, a.k.a. SWA, who officially visited Kansas this past weekend. Before we get into it, though, let's just take a quick little look on how exactly the visit went.
Psychedelic flow, I'm the dope and the antidote. Laid down the street from the package store. What you know? Going back and forth, in and out, moving lateral. Tools like mechanics, taking women for collateral. Put her on the saddle with a paddle and an Adderall. Just trying to straighten it out like Lattimore. Old time Mary, you are unemployed. I buy my girl a building with the furniture. You still getting the hair done, I'm on the tummy tuck. Yeah, I'm 2 chains, I'm on the double up. In the double R with a double cup. Yeah, double park at the W. I'm from the south side, gonna throw it up.
There it is. Hey.
Every verse I do need a coroner. They say I'm heavy-handed with a
6'7". Yeah! I'll give you 6'10". Yeah, it's not bad. You get it on.
I throw it up, it's falling down, it's definitely in the way. More than 3. Talking big flex, on the phone on, and she still takes the money in the way. What they got to say? I throw it up, it's falling down, it's definitely in the way. It's definitely in the way. The bells will get replaced. Whatever's in the safe, I put it in your face. They say life we going on a date. I came from canned goods, I came from paper plates. God don't make mistakes, but he'll make a way. I got a pink ring that cost about 80K. You was led astray, I'm about to set the pace. I think I'm up, but let me check the date. Watch my footsteps, yeah, ankle weights. Bought a new scale, trying to calibrate, trying to add it up. I'm trying to allocate, rocking reptile, talking alligator. You get clapped at, talking patty cake, school of hard knocks. Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. There's a little snippet of what SWA's visit was like, and it's pretty clear that he had a pretty good visit. And this is what Sebastian told me via text. He said, "I love the fall weather of Kansas and Bill Self, and I spent a lot of time together, so he was really giving me insight on not only who he is, but also how he thinks I would be at KU." Bez, what are just your first thoughts here? Kansas with a big visitor on campus.
Yeah, I think after old DP, hopefully he commits to Kansas this upcoming season. I think this is the next best guy that Kansas could get. Big fan to SWA myself. Got to watch him a good amount. Did his games a lot back when I was statting the old EYBL on the boys' side. So I'm a big fan of his. We'll get into more how he plays in a little bit here, but yeah, this is a good high-level, high-quality recruit for Kansas. I think he fits. I think he's a Bill Self player, just kind of straight up. And it doesn't surprise me that it was a lot of him and Bill one-on-one this weekend, because I think this is, sometimes Bill lets his assistants do a lot of the talking and a lot of the recruiting, especially on the visits, while they're touring around campus, walking them around, showing them the dorm, all that. But sounds like Bill put a lot of one-on-one time in with Sebastian this past weekend. So not that surprising to me. I think Sebastian's very much a Bill Self guy, and we'll get into that a little bit here.
Yeah, just starting with Sebastian, just kind of what I like about his game. He played on JL3 Elite this summer, and he played with guys like Hudson Greer. He played guys, Shelton Henderson is another top guy on that team. Amari Reed is another player who I believe is committed to play Division I from that team. So first of all, JL3 Elite was a really good team. And I believe they made it to the Peach Jam final bracket. I think they lost in the first round, but Sebastian Williams-Adams was a very key player for that team. During Peach Jam, he averaged 11.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 1.7 assists on 52.4% field goal shooting. I mean, he is just from watching him, he's just an uber athletic, like forward who can handle the ball. Like a lot of times I saw him, he was grabbing the rebound or blocking a shot and he was bringing it right down the court and dishing it to somebody or getting into JL3's offense. So, I mean, really, there's a lot to like about Sebastian Williams-Adams, and I think the fit for Kansas. I mean, we've made the KJ Adams comparison quite a few times on here. I don't think it's a great one to make, but I think there are definitely a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I think the biggest one I think is just like the motor and the athleticism. That's what jumps off to you when you go watch him and you see him play in person. It's the wow, this kid is everywhere and he is active. Like his hands are active. He's in passing lanes. He's a very good defender. He's really aggressive. He likes to operate and transition, going to the rim, getting downhill. That's kind of how he likes to roll. And that's kind of, I mean, KJ is not the best ball handler in the world. KJ is not exactly a super great scoring threat, which is
He
where
had
I
some
think
dimes last year, Bez. He did.
yeah, he had some times where the offense worked out well and the matchups worked out well in his favor to where he could get his little one dribble, dump his left shoulder into somebody, knock it off the backboard. But Sebastian's got a little bit of a bag. He's got some handles. He can get his own shot. I think that's where the comparison starts to fall off a little bit. But in terms of like everything we love about KJ and how hard he plays for 40 minutes and just that he's a great defender. Yes, like moving his feet. He's a great athlete. He's able to guard multiple positions, but he also just tries really hard for all 30 seconds in the shot clock. And you're getting a lot of that with SWA too.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned, the shooting is kind of, a little bit of why he's different from KJ Adams. I will say via the synergy stats, this is 158 total possessions that it counted. I'm not exactly sure where, when this is from synergy, but what games that is. But he was 1 of 11 from 3. So maybe a little bit of KJ's similarities there, Jackson. But just from watching him shoot the ball, I mean, like he looks like he's a confident shooter. I mean, like KJ. Yeah. Like we've said, you watch him shoot the ball and you're just like, oh man, like, I don't know if I want to see that again. But Sebastian, it's not like that really at all. He shot 37 of 54 from the free throw line. That's 68%. I mean, that's usually a pretty good gauge for somebody his size. I mean, it's pretty standard, I would say, at this level around that. So yeah, I really like Sebastian Williams-Adams. He had the second most steals to Shelton Henderson on JL3 Elite per synergy. And Shelton Henderson is a hell of a defender if you kind of follow this stuff. Another thing that really sticks out is this offensive rebounding. He had 25 defensive rebounds to 17 offensive rebounds. I mean, he hits the glass really hard. The only red flag that I'm really seeing is 27 turnovers in 158 possessions. But I think a lot of that is due to him, like we said, grabbing the ball, trying to make plays in transition. The EYBL, the shot clock's 24 seconds. They play so fast in the EYBL. Right. I think it just kind of comes with it a little bit.
No, I was going to say half of those are EYBL turnovers. A lot of the times when you see kids have turnovers like that, it's because you're right. Every time he gets a rebound or a steal or anything like that, he's taking it himself the other way. Yeah. That's not going to be the case if he goes to, if he commits to Kansas, right, where he's going to have a DeJuan Harris to outlet to. Is he going to? Yeah, he is, but not every single time. And a lot of those turnovers are him trying to force it through traffic, trying to kick it up too late, making silly, dumb turnovers that a 15 or 16-year-old would make at playing a super high level. Those are like EYBL turnovers. That's what I call them. Those are not going to ever happen on the college game just because it's going to be like, okay, let's rein this in just a little bit. We don't want to compromise what you do, but hey, sometimes it is okay to kick it up court to the point guard as soon as you get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like about SWA. And there are also a couple things that we have to note as far as his recruitment goes. Yes, he did take Kansas. He has also taken some other visits, and he has Purdue, SMU, Oklahoma State upcoming here. Oklahoma State is October 4th. With the visit, I thought that Oklahoma State was his last one, and I was texting with SWA today, and I asked him, is he going to be nearing that decision after the Oklahoma State visit? And he said that he's actually looking to schedule Baylor and Vanderbilt as well, and then maybe some more on top of that for the end of the year. So if Sebastian Williams-Adams is KU's first commit, like we think he might be, I mean, I would still say my confidence with Sebastian is pretty sky high. Like, I'm probably 90% confident in him being a Jayhawk. It looks like we might have to wait a little bit here, Jackson, to kind of get through the rest of his process and get that commitment.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of traveling on his end. That's going to end up being about 5 or 6 weekends in a row that he's visiting a school. Wouldn't want to do that personally, but the more the merrier. Sebastian, you go get your gear, go get your visits, go get your picks, go get all that swag. It's a good time, but I'm not worried about this one. As you said, I kind of agree with you on the confidence level. I just think I always try and think when Bill Self is one-on-one with these guys and they're talking, and I know Bill's got real plans for Sebastian. Say he would commit, he would be a contributor next season. He would play a good chunk of minutes right away as a freshman. Yeah. I don't know how you sit there and hear that from Bill Self. And this goes for other coaches like Bill Self out there, right? Like Dan Hurley's kind of coming into that world now. Even like guys seem to really, really respect Matt Painter, and he's, just went to the championship game, right? There's multiple coaches who are like this, but it just blows me away that they can just sit there and be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I would love to be a part of your offense and everything you're telling me. And then just go to another school and just completely forget about that. And
it's a new world.
It always surprises me. It always surprises me.
It's a new world. I mean, these kids are in no rush. And if you get unlimited official visits and you're telling me that I get to go all around the country and be wined and dined by the top schools in the country,
yeah,
I'm taking that. I mean, I'm taking it.
Especially now where you can kind of shop yourself around. Like, maybe back in the day, like, yeah, you take these visits anyway, but now you can take these visits, even if you're already planning on, say he's planning on committing to Kansas or another school he's been to, but he's already taking everything else. He can go ahead and go into these and be like, hey, by the way, this is the price over here. Can you do significantly better than that? Just part of the new world that we're in.
Yeah. Like we mentioned, SWA, he's taken A&M. That was the last weekend of August. He has also taken Auburn and Kansas so far. He's got Purdue, SMU, and he has Oklahoma State coming up, trying to get some others set up. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a Jayhawk, Jackson, but it looks like we'll have to wait a little bit on this one, unfortunately. We do have some more 2025 recruiting stuff to get into, but we will do that after the break. We will see you guys soon talking some more 2025s, how we think this class will shape up. And there's been a lot of news with visit cancellation, so stay tuned with us.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We are going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Hum, a Kansas Hoops podcast. And like we said, there are a lot of guys that Kansas has been involved with in 2025 that have kind of, narrowed things down and kind of put KU out of the picture. So we're just going to go over those guys really quick. The first one is Keyshawn Tillery. Kansas had a visit set with him for September 27th, and he just cut his list to Cincinnati, Virginia, and Wake Forest and is nearing a decision. He's no longer visiting KU, so Kansas will be out on him. Another guy, even though Kansas is in the top 3 and he is set to announce on Saturday, I am not expecting London Jamison to be a Jayhawk. Things are trending Alabama and Louisville there. And we also have Jalen Harrelson, 5-star, who is set to visit on late night. He canceled his visits to Missouri and Kansas and is expected to be nearing a decision after taking Purdue this weekend. And then one last guy, Tunde Isufu, he recently cut down his list to 3 schools as well, and he canceled several visits, including Kansas. So that's 4 guys that Kansas was involved with that they will not be involved with anymore. What's just kind of your reaction with that, Bez? 4 guys not going to be choosing KU.
Yeah, it seems like that Bill has kind of set his sights on the main 3 that we've been hoping for the past couple of weeks. Yep. So honestly, I kind of take it as a good sign. There's not a whole lot of like, hey, we're really looking at this guy, so you should probably look somewhere else. But these kids are looking around at that, and they're following who these kids are visiting just as much as we are, right? Because they want to see positionally where they fit in. They want to go to the best place where they can get the most playing time, obviously. So, and Bill doesn't want a class more than 3 guys, right? He said that multiple times in interviews, 3, 4 max, probably even 2, 3 going forward. With all the talent that's been in the portal the past few seasons, there's really no need to stack your class to get more than 3 guys. So I'm hoping that, DP, and we just talked about SWA and Rebay, let's narrow in on those 3 and lock it down.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned with KU kind of taking less high school guys, I think that is a trend we will see. But I think for this year, with kind of a lot of seniors being lost, I think that Kansas might dip into that maybe 4 or 5 guys this season. And yeah, like you said, Darren Peterson, I mean, all signs still point to him being a Jayhawk. There's nothing that's really changed there. He took that Ohio State visit, and USC has Kansas State coming up. But, everything's pointing to him being a Jayhawk. That would be a huge get, like we said, biggest recruit since Josh Jackson committing. We talked about SWA. Rebay, it looks like it's going to be interesting, Bez. It looks like it's going to really kind of come down to UConn, Kansas, maybe Creighton, and then he's got those visits to Indiana and Oregon as well. But yeah, those are the 3 that I would like to see Kansas lock up, and I think Kansas will probably end up locking up. And from there, it's kind of up in the air, to be honest, right now, Bez. I mean, we kind of talked about Tillery. That was kind of the point guard of this class, and Kansas doesn't really have that right now. I mean, DP, he's kind of been recruited as that, but, he's more of your combo guard, not really your true point guard. Kansas has a couple more visitors still. I believe these are the only 2 visitors that they have remaining, and that is Isaiah Dennis and Caden Magwood, both set to visit late night. That will be your guard position there, but with both of these guys, I'm just not so sure how in Kansas is with Magwood. I'm really not sure on that. And B, Dennis has been kind of seen as that North Carolina lock, with him getting a visit there, that being his hometown school, them offering. So it's kind of shaping up to look like this. And that would be the top 3 that we talked about, and Kansas going after like one more big fish. What are some of those names, Bez? What is a big fish that Kansas could grab here?
I don't know. You tell me, Mr. Recruiting. You're tuned into this stuff. I need to know from you. I mean, I would agree that we definitely need a guard, because DeJuan's leaving at some point, and that's after this season. Like, feels like he's been here forever. He absolutely has. But, there's no forever in college basketball, even if it seems like it. Everybody leaves at some point. So I want, like, DP is been recruited as that point guard. I don't think he's a true point guard. I want like a true point guard where I know next year that we don't even need to fish in the portal. Hey, we got some 4-star kid coming in. He can run an offense.
Well, Bez, there is a 5-star kid actually
Uh-oh.
that
There's
Bill
still one
Self
available.
is apparently going to see on Wednesday, which would be today that we record this podcast. Derek Murray reported that Bill Self will be in to see Michael Brown Jr. at DME Academy on Wednesday. Michael Brown, he's kind of an interesting one. He has pretty quiet-ish recruitment at this point. You know, I haven't really seen a lot of stuff on him. Kind of the perceived leaders for him have been, you know, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville. Those are kind of the guys or the schools that I've seen for him. I think it's a perfect fit for Kansas to go after him, A, because of what we talked about at guard, and B, because he's an Adidas guy. I mean, he has an Adidas NIL deal. You know, he's seeing some Adidas schools here. It really seems like, you know, DME Academy is an Adidas sponsored program. It really seems like that's the route he's going to go. So why not? Why shouldn't Kansas jump in there? I mean, he's a top 10 player. He's a top 10 player.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. I mean, hey, 2 top 10 guys in one class. That is, you know, that's Bill Self being back, right? That's him saying to every, I mean, look, you win a championship in 22. Okay, Bill Self's back. Now he can be in these top basketball coaches in the world conversations again. And every year they don't get to the Final Four. Bill Self, it's the same narrative, the same tired narrative comes back that he's not a top 3 coach in the country. And it blows my mind. And then he gets now in 2024, he's like, okay, is this not good enough for you? 2 top 10 guys in one class? Go do it, Bill. Come on, go do it.
I don't know if you remember, but I think it was sometime at the end of last year. It's at some point Bill Self made those comments about, you know, going for the throat, college basketball recruiting.
That's what that
We're
is.
seeing it. We're seeing it. Michael Brown, he's one of the big fish that we kind of talked about. Just real quick, he has official visits set to Kentucky, Maryland, UCF, and Arizona. He's also taken Indiana this past weekend. I think Kansas, if they get on that visit schedule, that's, you know, Kansas will be kind of really a school to look out
Yeah,
for.
not worried about any of those
So,
schools.
yeah, that Michael Brown could be somebody to kind of look after, to kind of watch here. Some other big fish, because like we said, we think Kansas is going to go after those 3, and then one more big fish. AJ Dybasta, obviously, is among those. Visited Kansas. I mean, I don't think he's coming here, Bez. He's a Nike.
That would really
guy,
surprise me if he came here.
but, you know, we'll see. Another really big name to watch is Nate Ament. The staff kind of seems to be focusing on him a little bit. We mentioned last episode that I believe Jeremy Case was out to see him. And now Self is reportedly going to visit Ament this week. That's pretty big. And Koa Pete is actually another prospect that KU has been looking at. I believe Michael Swain of 24/7 Sports, the fog.net Kansas site, he reported there's some mutual interest there. So Kansas is still recruiting. They're still recruiting this class.
Love to see it. Love to see it. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of movement leaving the roster after this season. So if there's, you know, this would be an okay year, like you said, to go maybe get 4 guys. But it's so weird, you know, because recruiting's got to get locked down now, right? You've got to kind of know your guys, know what your incoming crew is going to look like. And then right after the season, the portal opens up and everything completely changes. So it's really the old days of like, all right, we're going to need a point guard for next year. We need to go get a point guard. That's all of that is so like, it's just so different. So just kind of going after the most talent you can find in the recruiting world is kind of the direction that I think everybody's going to start taking.
I mean, if you look at kind of who Kansas is involved with, I mean, AJ Dybasta is the number 1 player. Darren Peterson's the number 3 player. Nate Ament's the number 4 player. Koa Pete's a top 10 guy. Michael Brown's a top 10 guy. Rebe is like your top 20-ish guy, like 20 to 25, I believe. And the SWA is top 40. And honestly, I think he could probably be higher than that. And then you got Magwood and Dennis, who are both top 50 guys. So, yeah, Kansas is recruiting right now. And like we said, hopefully SWA is locked up pretty soon. Hopefully Darren Peterson and Rebe join SWA. And then from there, hopefully Kansas gets one more big fish. that's how we're feeling. That's how we're feeling about 2025 recruiting as it stands. Yeah, that's what we got.
Looking good. It's looking good.
Well, all right, guys. That's all we have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions for us, anything that you would like us to talk about coming up here on these Wednesday episodes, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter. And thank you, everybody, for just kind of keeping up with us as we lull through this, almost college basketball season period of time.